Hello, everybody. This is another edition of Broadway Boxing. I'm Lou DiBella, and when I started this series, I set out to show you the very best fighters in New York and the tri-state area. Tonight, you're going to see a guy who's one of the very best fighters in the whole world, frankly, for more than a decade. Eric Morales' wars with Manny Pacquiao and Barrera were legendary stuff. He's on the comeback trail now. He's fighting former Commonwealth champion Willie Lyman, and it should be fun to watch. We have a great co-feature bout featuring flyweight champion Edgar Sosa defending against a real tough challenger. When you get two little guys in there of this quality, it's combustible. It's a lot of fun to watch. So we're going to go to Mexico City with my friend Colonel Bob Sheridan and Benny Ricardo, the ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
All right, we make our way back to ringside, and we certainly thank the Corona girls for escorting us with the umbrellas, and Jimmy Lennon for his fine work that he's done. Here's Ryan Bito. These Mexican-Filipino battles are becoming much like the great rivalries between Mexico and Puerto Rico over the years. This kid's a boxer. He's not a one-punch guy. He moves well. He's absolutely well-conditioned. He's got a terrific jab, and he has good rips to the body, good hooks. And I get that information from Bruce McTavish, the Hall of Fame referee from the Philippines. And by the way, Bruce, bring me my 3X WBC jacket to the convention in Cancun. This kid can fight.
Bito's got 4 wins in a row coming in this particular fight. 5'3" tall.
He's 6 wins and 2 draws in his last 8 fights. In July, he had a 10-round technical knockout over Sinmungal Kukurjim in Thailand. So that's pretty good when you beat the Thai fighters.
And you know, he started his career in 2003. Really busy 2005. He had 5 fights in 2005, remaining very, very, very busy. But here's the guy that Mexico City loves. He's from Mexico City. He trains here. He does everything here in Mexico City.
Edgar Sosa.
All right, as Edgar Sosa makes his way in.
And he's coming off multiple fractures to the cheekbone from the headbutt he suffered from another Filipino fighter, Rodel Mayor. Because Rodel Mayor also had the incidents with the heads against Ivan Calderon twice. And both of those ended up beating decision wins for Ivan Calderon against him, again, for using the head. But he was able to go ahead and come back off it. They put a metal plate, was implanted on his cheekbone, was able to come back off of that, came back and fought against Roberto Leiva, and won that one by knockout in the second. In his last fight, he beat Jose Varela, also a knockout in the 4th round.
Now, this kid turned pro in 2000, won 8 of his first 10 fights. His big wins over Brian Valoria in 07, and then he won Punsunwan Potimois, and we won the WBC 108-pound title. And that fight, King Pumipal Adulyadej, who's a Harvard grad, the King of Thailand, was at that fight. So we say a special hello to the King, who I know is watching tonight, and to General Bunseng of the Thai Army, a Norwich and West Point grad. This kid won the WBC Super Flyweight Championship of the World against Punsak Kit Wong Jung Kim in Thailand. So for Sosa, he can do it again.
And Edgar Sosa, who right here, again, he tried to have that decision, that loss, the TKO loss to Rodel Mayor, reversed. But the WBC would not let him do it, but said, you know what, if you can come back down and weight, down that lower division, we will consider you the champion still at the WBC and give you a chance to fight back for your title. I'm not sure he can make that weight again.
I don't know either, but he said in his entire training session he's never been in better shape, never been more focused. He has great desire once again to become the WBC world champion. He's had KO wins in his last couple of fights, and he's been training 10 weeks, never in better shape. 10 weeks is a long time in training camp. You hope he didn't leave anything in the gym.
And especially in this altitude here in Mexico City to be doing that training. Which, you know,
it's Jimmy.
Caballeros, su atención, por favor. Before we begin this next bout, we pause for a special boxing tribute of an 11 count as Mexico joins in the grief of the United States in commemorating the terrorist tragedy of the attack of 9/11. Ahora, damas y caballeros, suplicamos su silencio para los 11 campanadas. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Muchísimas gracias. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, at this time, we present a championship attraction sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, sancionada por el CMB, Presidente José Sulaimán, Supervisor Carlos González. Ahora presentando a los jueces, our judges scoring from ringside. From Puerto Rico, Raúl Nieves. From Mexico, Enrique Aguilar. And from the United States, Zach Young. Presentando al referee, Guadalupe Garcia. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC International Flyweight Championship. Bien, amigos, 12 asaltos por el Campeonato Internacional Peso Mosca del CMB. Introducing to you first, the challenger. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with green and red trim. He weighed in at 111 3/4 pounds. Presentando en la esquina roja, tiene un peso de 50 kilos, 800 gramos. His record, 39 wins, 6 losses, with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Con un récord de 39 victorias y 6 derrotas, tiene 23 ganadas por knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the longtime former WBC flyweight champion of the world de la Ciudad de México. Aquí está el ex campeón mundial peso mosca de la CMB, presentando Edgar Sosa. His opponent across the ring is indeed the defending champion, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing yellow trunks with black trim, he weighed in at 110 1/4 pounds. Presentando en la esquina azul, pesando 50 kilos, 100 gramos. His record, 18 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws with 6 knockouts. Tiene un récord de 18 victorias, 6 derrotas y 3 empates, con 6 ganadas por knockout. Aquí está el campeón internacional peso mosca del CMB. Here is the defending WBC International Flyweight Champion from Manila in the Philippines, Ryan Bito.
So Bito decked out in the gold trunks. As we take a look at the tail of the table and tell us a few things, Sosa's going to be an inch taller. He's going to be a pound heavier. He's going to be 7 years older, and he has a half-inch longer reach. So except for the age, everything pretty much in his favor, but just slightly. Mexico City versus Manila in the Philippines. And again, you see Lupe Garcia, the referee, and they do this in Mexico City, Benny. And why do they do it? It's just a tradition?
Okay. It's a tradition, so they end up getting pictures on all 4 sides.
So in the gold trunks, the yellow trunks as they were described, Ryan Bito from the Philippines, and the colors of the Mexican flag, that's primarily white, green, and red of the Mexican flag, Edgar Sosa. Sosa, former WBC 108-pound, long-time flyweight champion of the world. Ryan Bito, the WBC International 112-pound champion. So this should be a dandy. You get the youth against age. You get the great desire of the veteran fighter at 31. And again, another great Filipino-Mexican battle. Here we go. The Colonel Bob Sheridan along with Benny Ricardo. We're thrilled to be at the Bull Ring here in Mexico City. And it's a very exciting night coming up after this one, Morales against Lyman. So in the gold trunks is the Filipino. That's Bito. And in the white trunks, that's Sosa.
And Bito's coming off a 10-round technical knockout win over Simon Loy Kong King Jim to win the WBC International Flyweight title. On the part of Sosa, they spent a lot of great time training up here in that altitude. You mentioned how much time, 10 weeks that he spent getting ready for this particular fight. So he is really looking beyond that. Boy, I'd like to see a Giovanni Segura, Edgar Sosa fight.
Oh, I would love to see that. I don't know if that can be made, but I would love to see it. As you mentioned, Benny, Sosa's coming off a fight last month against Jose Luis Valera when he stopped him in the 4th round. Starting a little bit on the slow side against Bito, but he knows Bito's a very good fighter, and both guys are a little bit cautious in the early going here. Not much between them in the early going, and his Bito attacks to the body and with that looping left hook and right back. Nice tight defense by Bito. I like that.
Yeah, and Sosa, with a great thing that he does, attack the body. I'll never forget in 2009 in June when he dropped Carlos Melo with a body shot. I mean, it was a wicked thud. You got to hear that at ringside when he dropped Carlos Melo. So very adept at working the body is Edgar Sosa.
What'd you say when he dropped him right afterwards? He was very mellow, wasn't he?
Yes. Carlos Melo, they call him Melo, yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
So after watching the girls in the 2-minute rounds, this appears to be a little bit slow, but there's a whole lot at stake here, and the extra minute makes a whole lot of difference in how you pace yourself, especially in the early going, especially when you have guys that have 39 wins, and even though Bito only has 18 wins, he's fought some very difficult matches in the Philippines. There's so many great young fighters, just like there are in Puerto Rico and Mexico. So a guy coming in the Philippines 18-6 is like a guy from maybe Toronto with a 25-3 record.
Absolutely. Bito, you know, he was so candid with all the responses. He says, you know what? I'm not here to see any monuments or pyramids or any kind of sightseeing. I don't care about the Mexican independence. I'm here to beat Sosa, and that's all I care about, and I'm going back to the Philippines right after that.
Well, I mentioned the Hall of Fame referee, Bruce McTavish. He said, this kid is good, but he says Sosa's great. I'd like to root for Bito, but I think that Sosa might have an edge on him in boxing. So that's right from the Hall of Fame referee, Bruce McTavish. So we'll see how it unfolds, because he's from the Philippines and knows these Filipino fight as well.
And you see Sosa already so patient, just kind of stalking, measuring Bito for his chance. Hasn't really dug the body so far.
The atmosphere, folks, continues to build here in the bull ring. The sound, the enthusiasm here for Eric Morales and Willie Lehman is really extraordinary. And round 1 is by the boards. I don't know which way you're going to go on that. I think I got to give it a Bito just to play the most shots. I thought he was a little bit busier, not much between them. And now you look at the replay and you question yourself.
Yeah, but that's one of the few times.
But look at all the punches taken in the gloves, baby.
Right. No, he does a great job with the way he covers up right there. And look at that hand is up. That right hand is up. Good right hand right there, right to the chin of Sosa.
See, all this is missing. There's a digging body shot. Yeah, but I feel more confident when I score.
No, you know, and he looks very calm, too. He doesn't look the least bit daunted by the task he's got in front of him here to take on Edgar Sosa in Mexico City. Looks very calm.
Now, Sosa, in reality, hasn't opened up at all yet. He's maybe feeling this guy out. You see a little bit better Sosa action here in the camera above the bull ring.
And what a great record by Sosa. Defended that flyweight fight title 10 times.
By the way, we're joking about Jimmy Lennon holding the umbrella for us. Jimmy's a great guy, one of the classiest guys in boxing. We're only joking with Jimmy. We love Jimmy, and we think that he is absolutely the premier ring announcer in boxing, and with all due respect to our other pal, Michael Buffer, but Jimmy just does such a great job, and we work with him so much. We really enjoy working with Jimmy. He makes a fight telecast classy, I'll tell you.
And he has a penchant for very expensive wine. Very expensive wine.
He loves wine.
But expensive ones. We're talking $300 bottles.
Oh, yeah. He can afford it. Round number 2 from the bull ring, scheduled for 12. The WBC Intercontinental Flyweight Championship. Edgar Sosa right here in Mexico City, Distrito Federal. He's in the white trunks, and in the gold, the yellow trunks, Ryan Bito from the Philippines.
You know what? If I got to give an edge as far as hand speed, I'd give it to Bito. Bito seems to have some pretty quick hands.
Well, hey, look at his jab getting through there. But you know what I like best that I've seen so far about Bito? Because I saw him across the way here. Who's here is Finito Lopez. Finito Lopez, Hall of Fame boxer, 105-pound, 108-pound, held his title for about 15 years. Absolutely the most pure fighter I've ever seen in my life. Now, that's a strong statement coming from me, because
someone's done many fights.
My career spans 45 years, and Finito Lopez is here, and he's such a courteous guy, but what a great fighter, and what an honor to have called his fights. And he was the best defensive fighter I ever saw.
You remember his fight here with Rosendo Alvarez?
How could you forget that? What a fight.
Right here in the bull ring, right here at the Plaza Monumental.
Benny and I were here for that, and it was tough going, and there was a cut involved, and they ended the fight. But in the rematch, it was all the Buffalo couldn't hang in there. Nice hook landed by Bito. Bito's outboxing him, Benny. You're right.
No,
he's got quicker hands. Yeah. I don't think Sosa particularly likes it either. And notice a lot of Sosa's punches are being gobbled up on the hands, and you hear Lupe Garcia, Guadalupe Garcia, one of the fine Mexican referees that watch those heads, guys. Last thing I want to see is a head clash here. This has them making a very, very good and very technical fight.
And especially knowing the history of Edgar Sosa. Again, folks, he's got a metal plate that was implanted on his cheekbone after multiple fractures that he suffered from a headbutt from Rodel Mayo. Now he's getting there.
He began to land some shots there, and the heads came together again. I don't know if there's a cut or not. You see Sosa walk away. Guadalupe says, "Vámonos," that means let's go.
Let's go.
I even know that one. 20 seconds ago, and this is the second round. This is a good boxing match. Very, very technical. These heads are going to come together again. It's their styles. When they come in, Bito dips a little bit, and Sosa stands up a little bit, so the heads are going to bang. Let's hope there's no cut. Wild with the left hand. That time goes Bito. Sails over the head. Right back. Lands the right hand. Digging shot. Counters with the right hand. The bell ends round two. I don't know. I got to go with Bito again.
Absolutely. I think Sosa's waiting too much. There's Eric Terrible Morales.
But you know, as look at Terrible Morales, he's going to be fighting Willie Lyman very, very shortly in our next fight.
He's made them retape that thing now 3 times.
Yeah, he has. He's not comfortable with it. Jose Morales, Mauricio Garcia, and Raul Robles worked the corner with Morales, and he's just not satisfied with that. He's not being made to open it up. He just doesn't feel comfortable with the way it's taped.
And here's some of the action in round number 2. You're going to see the quick hands. That's where they're stepping the feet again right there. Now, this is probably the best part of the fight for Sosa at that point. And you see Bito getting out of the way there. Great shot. I love these kind of shots because you can really see the footwork.
Nice stiff jab, Benny.
And there's a head clash.
All right, here we go. This is round number 3, scheduled for 12. At stake, the WBC International Flyweight Championship, which will lead to a world title for the winner of this fight. Nice stiff jab started off again by Ryan Bito.
And you know, for Sosa, that was a phenomenal performance in 2007 when he beat Brian Valorian. After that, defended his title 10 times.
Speaking of great contest between the Philippines and Mexico. Stiff jab. Look at this guy. Bito's landing much cleaner shots. And you notice Bito, even when he leans in, which is not the way you're supposed to defend yourself, so much. Watch this, folks. Watch how many punches are taken on the gloves and how many he parries off.
You know, there's a lot of good Filipinos. There's another kid, too, Marcelo Gesta. Gesta's not a bad little guy that's also coming up. And then, of course, Mayol, who, this guy, he gets his head in every fight. And then,
you know, Gabriel Elorde, who works the corner of Bito, Flash Elorde was under the all-time. Yeah, that's exactly what we expected to happen. Now, remember, an accidental headbutt inside of 4 rounds. If the fight has to be stopped because of an accidental headbutt inside of 4 rounds, it's a no contest. This becomes important that it's called an accidental headbutt. Let's watch it. And boom, right there. Just because of their styles, right there. Great job, Bob Dunphy.
And you see the doctor now looking at that cut. It's right below the hairline.
Which is not a bad place if you got to get cut in the head. The only trouble is in the hairline where the skin is so close to the scalp, it really bleeds heavily. But it's not in a bad spot as opposed to right over the eye.
Reminds me of the Amir Khan, Marco Antonio Barrera fight. That's where it was, but it's actually off to the side that Marco Antonio Barrera had that cut. And the blood's coming right in the eye. That's going to hurt.
That could be a problem, but the blood really, I think once the corner has a chance to work on it, it'll be all right. They'll stuff that up with the adrenaline solution, and they'll be able to stop that cut.
So that's going to be problems. That's going to be problems for Sosa.
It's going to be a problem just through the end of this round.
But if I'm Bito, I'm all over it right now.
Oh, yeah, I'd attack.
You got to fight him like an octopus, like you got about 8 arms coming at him right now.
Remember, though, you don't want to attack it too much. There's a little strategy here, Benny, because if the fight stopped because of that accidental headbutt, it's a no contest. So you almost want to carry him through 3 and 4, because in the WBC, you asked me about the rule, round number 5 has got to start. It's not just getting through 4. You got to start the 5th round. So he's got to get through this round and one whole round. So actually, the game plan would be stay away from the cut right now.
But have they taken a point away from Bito?
Yeah, Bito loses a point here. So even if he wins this 10-9, he's going to lose a point for the guy who was not cut. Very important that...
Look at that blood now.
Yeah.
And that's the area, folks, that bleeds profusely right there, right underneath the hairline.
So Bito wants to win this round because then it'd be a 10-9 round, but he loses a point because he wasn't cut, so it becomes a 9-9 round.
But I've given him the first 2 rounds.
And he's winning this round, too. Uppercut inside landing.
Sosa just seems slower.
He seems slower, and he's not landing his punches clean. The positioning of Bito is extraordinary tonight.
Yeah, and he's not giving him a chance to breathe at all. You know, Sosa, you can tell, wants to take the body, move from side to side. Bito's on top of him constantly.
Sosa's very frustrated, Benny. You're absolutely right. And the crowd getting antsy here. Some nice hand speed. Here he comes. He finally lands a shot. Now we got a war. Bito comes right back. He said, no, you're not going to do it to me. The bell ends round 3. I believe Bito won that round.
I gave him that.
If he didn't, you know, it's a tie score. It's critical. If any judges gave that round to Sosa, the fight's even.
And look at the cut right there. It's right below the hairline. And they're not working on it. I can't believe this. There you get Miguel Gonzalez, Fernando Aguilar. They're not really applying anything on there. Although now they're finally going to it. And I don't understand this. You got the referee, Guadalupe Garcia, moving our camera guy away from him. Did not want him to shoot that. Here's some of the action right there in round number 3.
Let's be absolutely sure that the fans know what has happened here. Sosa got cut by the accidental headbutt. In the WBC rules, the guy who is not cut when there's an accidental headbutt loses a point. So if Bito won that round, it's a 9-9 round because he loses the point. If any judge had Sosa winning, it becomes a 10-8 round.
Which evens up the fight.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. In the fight, the round was close enough, so perhaps the Mexican judge, Enrique Aguilera, may have scored that round in favor of Sosa. So this fight could be closer than what I have at 29-27. But they've got to get through this round and start the 5th round. Then you go to the scorecards. It becomes official, and then it becomes a technical decision. But at least there's a decision and a definitive winner. It would be a sin right now that Bito has started this well, and of course it's a sin that Sosa get cut, but hey, that's what happens in prize fighting. It's a tough, rough sport.
Boy, you want to see a great defensive fight. Watch what Bito's doing, though. All these shots, Sosa's, he's taking it right on the glove. It does a brilliant job of moving side to side. See, look at that. Those are all on the glove.
Yeah, this guy's a terrific, a much better defensive fighter than I thought. Well, he get hit with a flush shot that time with the right hand. But you know what? He doesn't really want to hit him in the head again. And look at this. There's an urgency of Sosa, and the crowd, Betty, is really getting into it.
No, they love him. They love him here in Mexico City. But Bito, again, doing a great job of working that jab. And look at the way he's smothered. He doesn't give Sosa a chance to breathe at all. He's right on top of him, making him go backward. You don't have any strength going backward. See, look at that. He has no chance to gear up. He can't establish his base of power.
I think the corner of Sosa and Bito have 2 different ideas. Sosa's going to say, go ahead and let it fly. Bito's going to, and Sosa's landing some shots. Is he cut? I can't tell, Betty, whose blood is on whose face right now.
And remember the altitude. This is about the part of the fight where all of a sudden that altitude's going to be felt.
This is round 4, very critical, minute and 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds. As this fight will become official very, very shortly. This won't be stopped in between rounds. So it will go to the 5th round unless something extraordinary happens here in the next 50 seconds.
Another hit, but...
Oh, the heads came together again. Is anybody cut? You see, Sosa's frustrated.
He takes his mouthpiece out.
Very important that there's no other cut here. If there's a cut, remember, Bito loses a point if he doesn't get cut. Those heads wag right into each other. That's not a second cut, is it?
I think it is. It's lower. That might be a second cut.
If it is, Bito's going to lose. I can't tell, Benny, from my vantage point. I'm going to say for now, because there's been no indication by the referee that it's a second cut. But if it is, it's critical to the score of this fight, because that means that Bito will have won 2 rounds and lost 2 points. And that's why some people think that the rule is bad.
Yeah.
Now look at this, because in reality, Sosa's having his best round of the fight here. Nice counter left hand. Oh, nice clean left hand. Rocked him. It sure did. He made him in a bit of trouble. Right at the bell. That's the first round that Sosa has won. I have it scored 38-37. Look at this stuff. This is great, great boxing.
Again, we'll see though when that altitude takes its effect on Ryan Bito. You see right there. Now, this is when they're the best part of the fight here for Sosa.
As Sosa cut him strong, even when he hit the glove that time, it crashed into the skull of Bito.
But you know, the good thing Sosa was doing now was changing the angles of a shot. There's the headbutt right there.
He cannot come straight in on this guy who's going to get headbutted all night.
Yeah, what he's got to do is mix it up and go to the body and move from side to side.
Absolutely. He's got to get angles or he's going to get cut. He's going to get banged up. Now, as soon as the bell rings, this fight becomes official. Which is good, because that way we'll have a decision, technical though it may be.
Wow, they're saying 35-30 for Sosa. One of the judges has it.
They're saying Sosa's winning this fight.
Yeah.
Well, hey, and that's where the open scoring is. Did all judges agree on that? What'd you say? They said 35-30 in favor of
yeah, one
Sosa?
judge had it. The other guys had it a little different. Couldn't hear it all, but one of the last one was 35-30.
And that's Jose Mansour, who's from the United States. Boy, I'm not seeing this fight that way at all. But, hey, that's the official scoring. They've got Sosa out in front of this fight. I've got a point in favor of Bito right now. I mean, I don't see how he possibly...
And Bito's slowed down now. He's an easy target now for Sosa.
And, you know, sometimes at the end of these fights, they have to redo the scoring because these judges aren't as quick on these rules as we are. They don't know the rules really as well as we do, because we do so many more fights than they do. We're right on top of the rules. And oftentimes at the WBC match, it goes, oh, yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to take a point off. And they forget. I've done many, many fights where my score was different, and then they turn around and they give us our score.
Well, Bito's just not throwing shots now. He's waiting.
I thought the only round that Bito won, rather that Sosa won, was the last round.
Yeah,
and obviously, obviously, Jose Mansour and Enrique Aguilar, remember, there's been one close round.
Boy, Dad Sosa's doing a good job of counter.
A nice right hand landed by Sosa that time.
He's in rhythm now, Colonel.
Yeah, he is. It's a totally different fight now. Digging body shot underneath the elbow. He slips away from the right hand of Bito. Bito tries to reach him with the left hand.
Bito was giving him problems there, Colonel, because he was getting there first, especially with that jab. He was really flicking that jab and then working behind and doing a good job of slipping the punch afterward. Now, look at it, he's going back. He's doing exactly what Sosa was doing the first 3 rounds, going straight back.
Well, Sosa was feeling him out, and you said at the end of the first couple of rounds, maybe he was feeling him up a little bit too much. But to me, Bito was ahead in the fight. And now Sosa is taking command. He's the ring general now. You see everything is going his way. Nice stiff jab again. Bounces the head back of Bito.
But watch Bito. Watch the way he's breathing now. Really opening up that mouth.
Now, he may have trained for 10 weeks. There's great humidity this time of year in the Philippines. But it's the altitude here in Mexico City, a mile high. The hands are coming down. And Sosa's beginning to take advantage of it. See him missing? That's fatigue, Benny, when you see them missing like that.
And that's a good little technique on the corner. They brush the hair of Sosa in front of that cut.
That's a Sosa round. So now I've got the fight dead even. But remember, officially, our score doesn't matter because it's not official. Officially, Sosa's out in front in this fight. We already know that because of the open scoring after 4 and 8. Benny, I don't know how with the noises in here you could hear that, but you did a great job getting it.
Dice Gabriel Alorde, Fernando Limancar.
Alorde is a lauded name in the Philippines. Flash Alorde, one of the all-time great fighters to come out of the Philippines.
There you see that cut. You know what they did is they brushed the hair in front of that cut.
Good idea. These corner guys from the Philippines know what they're doing. They work with fighters all the time.
And here you get some of the action. By now, Edgar Sosa realized, you know what? Bito can't hurt me. So now he's being relentless now in his pursuit and mixing those shots, giving him all kinds of angles that's giving Bito problems.
This is round number 6 of the Bull Ring. Mexico City, WBC International Flyweight Championship, 112 pounds. Edgar Sosa from Mexico, blood coming from the forehead in the white trunks, all the red. Not only is it the decoration of the Mexican flag, but it's the blood coming from the head of Sosa, where he got headbutted back in the 3rd round. A very important factor is that Bito lost a point, and according to the judges, that was enough to put Sosa ahead. Right now, we've got a dead even, but Sosa's coming on. Ryan Bito, 18-6 from the Philippines. And again, Bruce McTavish knew what he was talking about. He says, this is a very good fighter, but I don't think he's up to Sosa. And that's the way it's beginning to look right now as the fight begins to turn.
Yeah, and I got to spend some time with Sosa in February this year. What a delightful guy. And we went to see a couple of fights. Everywhere he went, everybody absolutely just conversed upon this guy. They love this guy down here in Mexico City.
Well, you know, up in the United States, we have so many sports, football, basketball, baseball, ice hockey, all of the universities, football games back in action again. Down here, it's about bullfighting in the ring.
That's right.
Bull? There's a bull back there.
There's one of us. I think there's a couple little ones, too.
And it's about boxing. They love boxing here. It is a premier sport in this country, and they absolutely love it. Independence Day, everybody in Mexico City, all 24 million of them would love to be at this fight. They could only fit 54,000, but they said if they had a Superdome here, they could have fitted 154,000 in it. They could have gone over to Azteca Stadium, but they didn't. They came here to the Bull Ring.
And you know, this Bull Ring was inaugurated in 1945, and the first person that went around it was the Archbishop of Mexico, and he said, and pray tell that I went around the ring before Manolete, the great matador.
The tradition of this sacred venue, according to the bull riding traditions. You know, I met my wife in Spain, and I took her to the bullfights for the first time. As you know, I'm in the cattle business for many, many years, and I love the bulls. But this fight is about 2 bulls in there right now in a bull ring. In a very even fight, the way I have it scored.
And Bito's just got to start letting it go here. There's a good jab right there. And now he can work the cut. He can work the cut of Sosa.
You see, he's wild with the shots. That's desperation because he's got the heart. But look who's scoring right now. And notice in the early going, his defense was tighter, and Sosa wasn't able to land. Bito was picking everything off in his gloves. That's not happening right now. Sosa's landing cleaner and harder punches. That's why I'm going to score him in favor 10-9 at the end of this particular round, 10 seconds from right now.
And you know, Sosa, the defense of his titles, he has them all come down here to Mexico in this altitude. He loves the altitude.
Nice stiff jab that time. That jab is a punch because technically driving off the back leg. The bell ends the 6th round. This is really good now. Look at Sosa winning in the last 3 rounds after being cut in the 3rd round. So a sense of urgency after that. This fight is official no matter what happens.
And there it is. Terrible. Morales putting on the gloves, finally being comfortable with that wrapping. Now finally putting on the gloves.
What kind of gloves are those? Those aren't Reyes, are they? They're definitely not Grant's. There's some new kind of glove that I'm not
familiar with. I know ADX is down here too now, also making gloves. I don't know, those are the ADX gloves.
Well, they're definitely not Everlast, they're definitely not Reyes, and they're definitely not Grant, so something new for me. So we don't know whether it's a puncher's glove or not. It doesn't seem to make much difference in this contest. By the way, if you just joined us for any reason around the world, you missed a dandy of a female opening show of the WBC Female Super Flyweight Championship of the World. Ana Maria Torres defended her title against Alicia Graf of Germany via the Ukraine in a very entertaining female fight. This is round 7. We're at the Monumental Plaza del Toros in Mexico City. I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan. Benny Ricardo is with me, as always, on Integrated Sports. Looping right hand. Wow, with the left hand goes Bito again. He's missing as many as he's landing now, Benny.
Yeah, and again, you put that's fatigue. And what he's also not doing right now is working that jab. He wants to just hit a home run, and that's what he's trying to do instead of like he was doing the first 3 rounds, patiently using that jab, flicking it, turning it, and then moving around from side to side, and being quicker-handed than Sosa. He has really slowed down.
And notice another thing, that Bito isn't able to pick off the shots anymore. All the shots aren't landing on his hands anymore. In the very first 2 or 3 rounds of the fight, everything that Sosa threw was caught or parried by Bito. Meanwhile, there's no quitting Bito. This fight is not settled by any way, shape, or manner yet. Bito is a very determined, very tough fighter, but Sosa, things are swinging his way in the last 3 rounds. The tide has turned, and there's a chopping right hand that cracks to the upper cheekbone of Bito. And look at the heart of Bito as he blasts off the ropes, but nothing lands.
Yeah, good counter move, but just didn't land the shot. What I'm disappointed a little bit with Sosa right now, I'm not seeing the body attack I expected out of him.
Making mistakes too, Benny. Did you see what Bito just did? He leaned into the kill zone, exposing the top of his head. You crack a guy in the top of the head, and if you don't break your knuckles, you'll knock him out.
Right.
You know what happens there? It's like a compression knockdown where the spinal cord comes together and the brain bangs into the spinal cord, forcing the blackout. It's a very bad way to expose yourself. The danger is a guy breaking his hand on top of your head.
But that's not hurling, though, right?
No. Hurling, they do with sticks.
And now he says Sosa's coming at him.
There he is. Wow, look at this. And the crowd is really into it. I can hardly hear myself, Benny. The crowd is really into this fight.
Well, there's 100,000 tons of concrete holding up this place.
Meanwhile, Sosa just got nailed with a right hand. Look at them leaning in without throwing. Big mistake for both guys. That isn't what you want to do. And Bito tries to battle back. He thinks that he's got Sosa punched out. 25, 24, 23 seconds to go in the 7th round. We're in a very close fight here. Once again, Guadalupe Garcia said, watch the heads, guys.
Now, this is a tremendous pace on sea level. But can you imagine up here in the altitude here in Mexico City to fight like this?
Benny, I'm out of breath just calling the fight. I don't know if that's age, weight, or the altitude. We're in the Mile High City, you know.
And not only that, but you got the smog to contend with here. Oh, they've done a great job of cleaning it up. Here's the shots by Sosa. You see right there, Bito backing up. But then Sosa, oh my goodness, look at that shot right there by Bito. And keep in mind, again, folks, that Sosa has a metal plate that was implanted on his cheekbone. That was 3 fights ago against Rodel Mayo after that fight.
How tough are these guys? Man. Tonight, my 892nd world title fight, and I've never ceased to be amazed by the courage of these combatants. I've called fights in which 5 of the combatants died, and poor Gerald McClellan was maimed for life in the fight that I saw him against Nigel Benn. And that's why I admire guys that put these gloves on, lace them up, and go and do battle. They can go out on their shields, and I've seen it 5 times. Here we go, round number 8. Benny, you and I did one fight in New Orleans in which the opponent died.
Yes. Martin Sanchez from Mexico City was a fireman here in Mexico City, and I think the damage to Martin Sanchez was done. He did a very heroic thing of rescuing over 200 people from a burning nightclub. That was Martin Sanchez, and then he fought Rustam Nugaev, and you know he went down in the 9th, but then you know he was up for a unanimous, for the decision loss. And then when he went back to this dressing room, I went back to greet him and see how he was. Next thing you know, I saw him being carried out in a gurney. And he perished the next day about 11:45 in the morning.
Sad thing, but that's what the respect comes from me and everybody who loves this sport. Nice left hook landed by Sosa, and you hear the reaction of the crowd. If you think they're wild for this fight, well, you see Eric Morales and Willie Lyman do battle. And I wonder, can Willie, who's fought all his fights in the UK, will he be able to handle this? I mean, this is a tremendous atmosphere here, and it's only going to come to an even higher crescendo.
Yeah, and he's been in an air chamber working there, trying to get his lungs in preparation. for the altitude. So let's see if that stuff works. Because, again, it's not just Eric Morales he's got to contend with. He's also got to contend with the altitude.
Bito not having a bad round here. In fact, he appears to be coming back at the halfway point here in round number 8.
And the blood is back on the forehead of Edgar Sosa.
But right now it's academic because even if it had to be stopped, it would go to the score sheets.
But it does give him problems, though, Kurt, because that blood, that stings unbelievably when it starts coming in your eye.
Benny, after this round now, even though this has been 13, 12 seconds ago, I'm going to lay out and let's see if you can pick it up, because the noise in here is extraordinary that you folks at home really can't pick it up. It's very, very loud in here because the arena is so close. In a bull ring, it's not like an open-air ballpark where the crowd is spread out. They're right on top of us here. It's very hard to hear. In fact, it's hard for me to hear Benny. And if I don't have my headset on, I wouldn't be able to hear him. That's to give you an idea of the noise here. Good right hand landed by Bito. I think Bito might be winning this round.
Yeah, and I think he got his second win. See, now he's back to smothering Sosa, not letting him get off. I say that. Look at the way this is turning around.
Now he turns it right around. He's going to win this round. If he doesn't drop him here, there's enough time for him to go down. But look at this kid battle back. This is the courage of professionally tuned athletes. Wow.
24 years old, Ryan Bito in the fight of his life.
The noise in here is absolutely deafening. The excitement of these two fighters has the crowd in a mere frenzy. Now they finally calm down a bit. Anytime Sosa does anything, which I assume will be the same situation with a championship fight when Eric Morales and Willie Lyman are doing battle. The bell ends. I don't know, man.
You know, just because of the fact that I'm going to consider the memory, I thought the way Sosa closed the round is going to influence the judges. So I think they're going to go with Sosa.
I think they probably will, considering the way they scored the first 4 rounds. Benny, let's listen while the crowd watches, see if we can pick up this score. Remember, open scoring after 4 and 8.
There's the cut. Done a great job on that cut.
I mean, that was cut back in the 3rd round.
Ryan Bito seemed to get his win back, but then Sosa, relentless. All 3 judges have Sosa out in front.
All right, and as do I now. I have Sosa by 2 points. I have the feeling that they might have him out in front by as much as 3, maybe even 4. If that's the case, that Bito's got to win every single round the rest of the way to get a draw, and he's got to knock him down if he's going to win the fight. So all of the judges, and Benny and I have Sosa winning by at least 2 points. I've got it 77-75 Sosa, and I expect the judges have 1 more point in favor of Sosa because they had Sosa leading after the 4th round and we didn't. All right, this is the 9th round, scheduled for 12. The bull ring in Mexico City. Extraordinary effort by both fighters in this high altitude. It's hot, it's humid, it's rained earlier.
Sosa now just being the technician. The technician, knowing he's ahead here, and he's not going to go ahead and take any risk with that head. He is fighting from the outside, trying to get there first, working behind that jab. Bito, though, man, he's got to step it up right here, Colonel. He's got to now just go ahead and, again, he's trailing, and he's got to know he's trailing.
Oh, he does know he's trailing. At least his corner has to. If you don't have somebody listening in a WBC championship fight, you're foolish. That's poor preparation. You got to know the rules no matter what contest you're in. This kid has got to turn it up a notch, and he has, in my opinion, turned it up a notch, but it's not effective aggressiveness.
Look at Sosa now doubling up, tripling up with that jab.
And look at it move just out, slide away. Remember we talked about the angles and stop from coming straight in to avoid the headbutts? Well, he's right in front of him now. Now that's a slip. And Lupe's right on top of it. The only danger there is you can turn an ankle, but that's definitely a slip. Good job by Lupe.
Well, I'll tell you what, they placed the canopy in just the right place, because all the rain that we've had has not gotten into the ring.
Terrific job. A great setup there. Looping right in now. What Loopy was saying there. But see, Bito's not doing enough right now. And now he's getting beat up. Big left hook. The uppercut is there if he throws it. Look at this kid bounce back. Boy, this kid is in tough condition. When I say tough, I mean really great condition.
And look at the way he's breathing now. That mouth wide open.
Bito's a rough customer. Giving up an inch in height to Sosa. About a pound in weight. Sosa's 31 years of age, but in the prime of his career. And right now he's taken away whatever Bito was doing in the early part of this round. And they love it here in the bull ring. The bell ends the round. And Sosa put an exclamation point on round number 9.
Well, Mexico loves what they call the fajadores, which means the brawlers in Spanish. And they're getting it. 2 brawlers getting it on here. Again, that, with the exception of maybe in the 7th, was that blood a factor again coming out of the cut. So they've done a great job with that.
Well, I know the boxing fans in the Philippines are equally as enthusiastic as the boxing fans here in Mexico, back in Puerto Rico, and for the aficionados of boxing in the United States like Danny Rayfield and those guys. But look at this guy. He lands a punch, and it ignites Sosa. Bang.
Yeah, now he's doing a great job again, creating those angles for himself. None better at creating angles for himself up close than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
All right, here we go.
Senior.
You meant senior,
I'd catch you with that.
No, you won't fool me with Julio Cesar Chavez. I did his fight against Greg Haugen right in this city. 140,000 people across the way at Azteca Stadium. You think it's deafening here? That was so loud there I couldn't hear my heartbeat.
And that was after Haugen taunted him about the Tijuana cab drivers he beat up on his record. A ballooned up record, as Greg Haugen said. Boy, did he pay for it.
Yes, he did. This is round 10, the bull ring in Mexico City. Bito, I must say, is giving it everything he has. Look at the movement of Sosa. We talked about how quick the hands were of Bito in the early going because Sosa didn't do much in the first couple of rounds. All that's changed. Both guys, these are terrific boxers, you know.
And this kid's 24 years old.
Yeah.
This is a great experience for him, great learning experience. He's only going to get better. Oh, what a shot. That's a body shot.
He may not be able to recover.
No,
5, 6. He won't get up. He got him in the liver. It's up to 8. He does get up, but he won't last long. There's too much time. You get hit on top of the liver, man. Look at him trying to finish it off is Sosa. If he can crack him. Look at the courage of Bito. Unbelievable. Another digging body shot. Get into the button again. He's ready to go. Bito does not want to quit. What courage. Sosa all over him right now. Triple jab, right hand. Wow, look at this stuff, folks. You don't see professional boxing any better than this. UFC, I hope you like it. This is what professional boxing is about. This is striking. Look at this.
And Guadalupe Garcia wanted to stop the fight, Colonel. But you know what? Bito kept fighting. Look at him. This guy is a man.
Any more head blows, he'll stop it. A lot of time. And finally, he collapses. 4. It's up to 5 and 6. He's back up. It was the body shot that started. It's all over. He looks in the eyes. And a good stoppage by Guadalupe Garcia. A sensational finish by Edgar Sosa, who becomes the WBC International Flyweight Champion.
Well, you know, Colonel, I told you it was going to be the body shots by Sosa was going to go ahead and get the win. And sure enough, I mean, he waited around to the 10th round to go ahead and do that. But eventually, that was the difference. But this kid, I'll tell you what, I salute Ryan Bito for his courage, his preparation. And again, that body shot, that liver shot was just wicked. Nobody should get up from that.
Benny, you said it, and I agreed with you. I don't think he's getting up. I don't think he can. Watch the liver shot. Starts here, and he exposes his liver. The liver's in the right side of the body, right below the rib cage. Watch, see if we got it for you.
Right now, it looks like Bito's winning the fight.
Yeah, it's right there.
There it is, right there. And you see his mouth. You see his mouth wide open, grimacing. after he takes the effects of that shot.
That's the same punch that Bernard Hopkins knocked out Oscar De La Hoya with. Most guys, when they get hit with a severe liver shot, cannot get up. It freezes you. It's always delayed. And once it hits you, your legs are gone, your body is paralyzed, you can't get up. And this kid did. There it is
again.
Yeah, and that was it. After getting on top of the liver for a second time. And even then he got up again. And Guadalupe used his better judgment, knowing that this kid was behind and Bito will live to fight another day. As Benny said, no disgrace for you Filipino fans. You've got Manny Pacquiao coming to the States in another month or so to fight in Texas. You'll have your night, believe me. Here's the replay.
The last man to beat that same man you talked about, Manny Pacquiao. What a performance. And, you know, to this day, Eric talks about this. He says, you know what? On that night, I showed Manny Pacquiao that I was technically a better fighter than he was in the strategy that I used and what I was able to execute. His father right there on top of him.
Well, Benny, where does this put Sosa now winning this fight in a shot for the flyweight championship? What do we want to see him fight?
Well, you know, I think at 112, you know, you got some great situations right there, especially if you can get a Giovanni Segura. Segura is going to go up. Segura's going to go up. You got Koki Kamedia. You got, you know, a lot of guys down there. But I think the fight that people want to see, I mean, can you imagine Giovanni Segura against Sosa?
Oh, I'd love to see that fight. That one would have to go to Azteca Stadium, wouldn't it?
Oh, especially, you know, right there with Mexico. And, you know, a lot of the championship fights now, Colonel, and we got to talk about this, is the fact that they're staying in Mexico because now the Mexican government, the different municipalities are putting up money to have all these championship fights stay in Mexico, not go to Las Vegas or not go to the Alamo Dome where Sosa beat Valoria, but keep them in Mexico.
We have to make it official with Jimmy Lennon, and then, Benny, whatever you can hear from across the way, because we can't hear the mic, but you might be able to interpret a little bit of what he's saying.
And gentlemen, damas y caballeros, con el tiempo 2 minutos 5 segundos. In round numero 10, the time of 2 minutes 5 seconds. In round number 10, a referee stops the contest. El referee Guadalupe Garcia paró la pelea. El ganador por knockout técnico. He is the winner by way of technical knockout and the new WBC International Flyweight Champion, Edgar Sosa.